Alright guys, we really gotta talk about this vayne topic by NRG. For context, Dhokla, Big Dokes, picked this vayne top into Renekton R5 for their comp because he was really bored, I guess, and he wanted to play it so badly. It's really funny because I actually was literally watching him the other day. He was playing it on stream, vayne top. He looked really good on it, but again, he looked just as bored there on stream as he did like maybe in this draft or something. He's like, coach, please let me pick it, and I'm not gonna try to sell it to you. I actually don't think it's that good. Contextually, hear me out. I think it's good potentially with the right sort of like. I think the slot is correct. R5 vayne top is great. This is the best time to pick it because you need to see as much of the comp as possible in order to make sure if it's good or not. And NRG actually did that, which is good. However, they it was into a Renekton blind, and it's kind of similar logic to, like, let's say the TF top and the Smolder top. I think it's actually the same thing. It's the same fundamental, and I've actually been selling vayne top a bit. I think myself, like, I'm a fan. I'm speaking of this from a fan perspective. Like, I don't think it was a bad pick per se. It's just a bad pick potentially contextually. And I'm here to explain that context. So let's see what the bans here. Interesting things to note. Jace got some good buffs, like some really good buffs. His melee W got like 5 mana extra per auto at all levels, which is absolutely insane for attrition battles in certain matchups. And NRG ended up choking a lot of the mid pool. So those are the main things to keep in mind. So out of the mid pool left, there's only like a 0 karma. And they also banned Ivern, which is a bit of a funny. There's other champs still available here. The whole field's available. I believe IMT just go for volley, which is totally fine. It's an excellent prio pick right now. I'm the volley salesman. I think B1 volley is totally chill. Works in any comp. You can play any direction you want. Get prio everywhere. He's a beast. With all the buffs to his Q. His main issue being kited is like not really as prominent anymore. And you just go for Q max. You're so damn strong. You don't have that many counters, to be honest. It's probably just like Trundle or Olaf, I believe. But even against Olaf jungle, well, one, Olaf jungle is not really relevant anymore, and two, Olaf jungle into this, it's probably not even that mismatched. So whole field is open, right? NRG are like, let's go Nautilus. Totally down for that. A lot of teams are doing that. Asha slipped through. I think it goes completely through this draft. Some teams just don't care, right? It's a champion that's really strong in teams that really like to use it, because I think you can use and abuse it really easily. It's really strong, but in some cases you're kind of like, it's really on the team and the players. Team 1 is a team that's like basically gets a free Ash ban every game. They draft against teams and that enemy team only has 2 bans every game because they have to ban Ash every time. It's really funny. So they get B1 Senna more often than like any other team, which is pretty funny. So NRG probably set themselves up for this Talia pick because of these mid bans. So it could be just that they think against IMT or Mask in particular, they're like, I am willing to play the Azir matchup because the way Mask plays Azir, I think I can handle best, and then I can put the most impact on the map. That could be drafting for external conditions that are not necessarily intrinsic to the champion. Cool. What did they pick on 3 here? Varus. I think that's totally fine because it's a good matchup into Kalista. They picked Kalista without support as well, by the way. So this should be like a free Renata ban, especially into the Nautilus matchup. So it's a little bit, I do think it's a little bit ambitious to start things off with the Kalista and not picking it. I think also we are on post-nerf Kalista, and it's a little bit weird, I'm not going to lie. I don't remember what the second ban is. I wouldn't be surprised if it's another defensive support like Braum or like Maokai or something like that. Otherwise, I can't really think of something else. It could just be a top laner if they decide to pick jungle on 4. I wouldn't mind if you ban like Aatrox or Kisante or something like that. But, you already know Big Dokes had other plans. And they banned the Ashe anyway, actually. Oh, that's actually kind of smart. So let's quickly move on to the rest of the draft just so we can talk about the vayne a little bit more and why it's decent. IMT do nothing special here. They do Kalista Thresh, which is interesting. This is an Ole kind of like tech pick. Thresh got some buffs. He's been looking pretty decent. So maybe IMT's been practicing him. This is also the Ole special, as I mentioned. So Kalista Thresh, it's it's only time will tell if the Thresh is actually good right now, because he hasn't been good in quite a while. He's one of those champs that's like, when it's good, like hella good, you know, like it's hard to beat, because he kind of does it all, and it's also scaling with the skill of the player. But yeah, they're very careful with Thresh to keep him as balanced as possible. I digress. The matchup's not the greatest anyway, which is funny. IMT have like a pretty basic comp, but I think a lot of the main question is like a lot of the champions don't have enough oomph anymore, and except for Volley. And the Vayne top is the funny part. So they pick it on 5, right? So it's the Renekton matchup, and the main thing with Vayne is that, sure, you can pick Vayne top in certain matchups. I don't think Renekton is one of them. And also, a lot of the time, it's very hard to pick Vayne top against a lot of mages. That is more than likely why they banned Orianna Hui. Because, especially against control mages, it is unplayable for Vayne. Because your biggest issue is getting spaced out. If you have never played Vayne into Orianna comps, it is absolutely disgusting. Because the moment you walk up to do anything, you will get shockwaved. You will get pelted by damage. You can't reach. You're only 550 range. It's actually kind of similar for Azir. So, and I think it could be the impression that they just think that it's decent, and they feel that they have enough front lines as well because they have Poppy Nautilus, and on top of that, the matchup's not even good. So I think Dhokla was bored. So don't get too alarmed. You're supposed to just go Aatrox there. You could just go Aatrox. You could go Gnar or something even. Maybe not Gnar. I think Gnar is fine actually. But you know, if you want to spice it up, try things out. By all means. And I think let me explain some chances where Vayne top is good. If they blind a lot of tanks, which has been done a lot recently, even into Aatrox, it's probably pretty good. If you pick it into Udyr, you pick it into Cassante, you're going to melt those guys. It's no problem. Aatrox, you got that. You know, it's not even that bad. Renekton, it's fine. But it's not fine at like levels 3 and later, in my opinion. So it was offset by the fact of, I'm not sure if the clip goes through it. It's very important that Dhokla starts on the wave, specifically in this matchup, so that he has range advantage level 1 and Renekton can't do anything. And I think Renekton still has answers into Vayne starting from level 1, even though it's a melee versus range matchup. I think the solution is to change his skill order so that he can actually take advantage of that. I think he has to go EWQ, and I think he starts Q in this matchup, which is probably why he doesn't feel like... No, I'm wrong. He did go EW. He's smart. It's just like the stacking wave, I guess. But the point I'm trying to make is that the suboptimal slot for Vayne in this case was made up for with the good laning phase for it. So do not try this at home, guys. All right? Don't just because Big Dokes got success on it here doesn't mean that you should try it. PSA. Thank you for listening to my TED Talk. Thanks, guys.